Hello everyone, my name is Stefan, I'm the tech editor of BestProducts.com, and today we're going to have a quick chat about the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. So, the Samsung Galaxy Note series is widely regarded as some of the best big phones out there, and this is the latest one. It was announced a couple weeks ago at a very glitzy event with a large crowd, and it's about to hit the shelves of all major carriers this week. So what's so special about the Galaxy Note 7? Actually, it's quite a few things, but before we dig into the details, we're gonna have a quick history trip about the Galaxy Note. So the first Galaxy Note was launched in 2011, and it was gloriously weird in a way that at that time Apple was still selling the iPhone 4. iPhone 4S was not even announced, and if you don't remember, the iPhone 4 had a 3.5-inch screen, and most Android phones had screens in that vicinity, 3.5, maybe 4-inch display also on some of them, but that was generally the norm. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the summer of 2011, Samsung launched this gigantic phone. At that time, they had a 5.3-inch phone, though today's a standard for just about every Android phone. And it also had a style. Everybody was widely switching to input with only fingers, and we're here 5 years later. Big phones are the norm. Samsung is a leader in that market. Is becoming widely adopted by many companies, including some of Samsung's biggest rivals like Apple, LG, and many others. So anyway, Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Of the Galaxy Note, the reason why Samsung jumped from Note 5 to Note 7 is to bring the model numbers in line with the Galaxy S family, because they actually share quite Note 7 has the 7, Galaxy S7. They're part of the same generation of phones that launched in the same year. So, several important additions that the Note brings to the product family. The first one is it has an iris scanner. The iris scanner allows you to literally unlock the phone just by looking at it. I'm going to show quickly just how it works. Here's my phone, Note 7. This is the lock screen. You can see. And now I'm just going to look at it, and it unlocked it.
Awesome.
That one is pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
Another cool thing that the Note 7 can do is it's actually fully waterproof. Like the Galaxy S7, up to 5 feet of water depth for up to 30 minutes, and that includes the stylus. During my time with it, I tested you can even take notes underwater. So if it's something super important, like maybe you're under the shower, or you're in the bathtub, hot tub, swimming pool, or anything, and if you just have an idea, you can literally just jot it underwater, obviously, if circumstances permit. The other important thing about the Note is, of course, the S Pen. So the S Pen looks like a regular stylus, but it's actually a pretty sophisticated accessory. It has been co-developed by Samsung and Wacom. Wacom is one of the leaders in graphic design hardware, like in comics, gaming industry, anything that requires any level of drawing and graphic design. Wacom is the go-to company that does that. For example, that cool Netflix show, Stranger Things, the poster, the amazing retro poster, it has been drawn on a Wacom.
To a show we all watch.
Wacom and Samsung teamed up for the S Pen. They've been doing it for years, but this is the latest generation, and it supports, so it's incredibly accurate, which we're going to demonstrate available currently on the market. You get the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Galaxy S7 with their fingerprint sensor is also Android Marshmallow is the OS out of the box. You get a very nice front-facing camera. It's a 5-megapixel one, and overall, just the phone is brimming with tech. 5.7-inch display with Quad HD resolution. That's 2560 by 1440 pixels. It's pretty much standard for high-end phones. But what's cool about this one is that it supports HDR content, which to my knowledge is the first on a mobile device. HDR stands for high dynamic range, and it's commonly used in photography. If any of you have a smartphone, you've probably seen that when you open the camera in the settings, you have an HDR button. It's either automatic in some of the modern phones, or you can enable it on your own. And you use it when you have when you're trying to take a photo in conditions where you have, let's say, a shade and then bright sunlight, and HDR allows to process all the information better and just take a cleaner photo. Same goes for video content. HDR support allows the device to have more vivid picture. If you're watching video that supports it, it just looks a lot prettier. VR support. Samsung launched the Gear VR virtual reality headset last year. Alongside the Note 7, they launched the second generation of it, and it's more comfortable. Co-developed by Oculus, support for a ton of content, and it's generally the easiest way to experience quality VR content, other than that doesn't involve shelling $700 on an actual Oculus Rift or HTC Vive, because those they also need a gaming PC, so it's a lot more elaborate setup as opposed to just snapping your phone and enjoying yourself. By the way, while I continue talking, it's answered on.
Someone's wondering, because obviously so many people are used to a very light phone now. Is this one how is this one on the weight scale?
Yes, thank you for pointing it out. So the Galaxy Note 7 weighs just a little more than 5 ounces, which for a device with 5-inch screen is very reasonable. And now that we talk about the weight, we're also going to talk about the design and the build quality. So if you look at the Note 7, it's unmistakably a premium Samsung phone. Since last year, the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge, Samsung introduced glass and metal construction. Basically, you got front and back panels made of Corning Gorilla Glass, and you have a metal frame. And then we had that was in 2 different models, Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge. Last year, when the Note 5 came out, it was released alongside the big Samsung phone with a curved display, the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. That was like the longest name ever. But this year, Samsung has released only one, the Note 7, and it has a slightly curved display. It's not too curved, but it's slightly curved on both sides. So even though it's 5.7 inches in diagonal, which is pretty substantial, it's still full 2 millimeters narrower than the previous model, and it's basically the most comfortable big phone to handle with one hand. It's surprisingly narrow. You can perform most of the common tasks just with one hand. And when it comes to the design, this is something that they don't talk about it much, but I find it incredibly cool. They have used the same glass mold for the front and the back panel, so the device is perfectly uniform when you look at it at the back and the front, save for the camera, obviously. But it just makes it look much cooler than any of the previous iterations, because for example, the Note 5 had the back was a little curved, but the front was flat, or you had curved front and flat back on the S6 Edge. So it was a little messy. That one is just perfectly uniform. Regarding the construction, this is the first smartphone to the market that uses Corning Gorilla Glass 5. Corning literally announced it a couple weeks before the Note 7 made its debut, and Gorilla Glass 5 is obviously the toughest iteration of the glass to date, and it can survive basically what Corning says 80% survive without cracking. So it's not shatterproof. They don't say it's shatterproof, but it's a lot tougher than any previous iteration. And if you drop the phone, there's a high probability that you're not gonna crack it. And cracked screens are not good, as you probably know. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about the S Pen. Now that we know that it's so sensitive, the S Pen, Samsung has a whole bunch of software tricks that take advantage of the stylus. The first one, and one of my favorite, that one actually came out last year, but I still love it. So the moment you pull it out, even though the device is locked, you can still take notes, like just quick notes, without unlocking the phone. This is if you just have a quick idea or you want to do it on the go, and then you can save it. If someone else does it, they will not be able to access it later, but if you did it, you will obviously be able to access it in your notes. So, what else? You guys want to come closer, or are you good?
Yeah, maybe I was thinking about coming closer to see the retina scan being
Yes,
done.
please. That's
But I
that
also
one
think
is actually really cool.
What do you think? How do I not be a problem for yours?
No, I'll push in.
Okay.
Okay, so leaving the stylus here, and now we're going to try to retina scan. So, you see that? So, turn on the screen, and just, they also have that cool wallpaper that changes color.
Cool.
Anyway, flip up, and it's looking for retina. Has actually an additional camera that's dedicated entirely to scanning your iris. It works in all light. I've tried it in complete darkness. I've tried it outside, and most of the time it happens so fast that you don't even see that red light that showed up. The reason why we saw it is that my face wasn't it, but if I open it, swipe up, and just look at it, and it opens up.
Awesome.
Here's one fun feature that they did. So when you go to the security settings, and that's where the iris controls are. It's a separate menu called irises. Then you put your pin, which I'm not going to show you. And then you have mask on preview screen. That's actually kind of goofy. But when you open it, so you can choose between that, or you can have, let's say, maybe kind of like a kitty or whatever.
Sold.
And then when you select that, and then when I want to unlock, it's going to be like that. Yeah. Alright.
That's so fun.
Anyway, so that's the iris scanner. It's not only unlocks the phone, you can also use it to authenticate your Samsung account, or you can, Samsung has a feature called Secure Folder. It utilizes their Knox security suite, and you can use the iris scanner for unlocking that secure folder where you can hide stuff from other people if basically you don't want them to see it. And down the line, who knows, maybe you'll be able to even open your bank account, but for the time being, just one thing at a time. So the S Pen, the S Pen, the moment you open it, it has a suite of available applications which hovers around the screen, and the thing is called Air Command. Air Command has been around for a while, Samsung phones, but the latest iteration is particularly cool because they have streamlined all the functionality and everything is available instantly. You can, for example, translate text simply by hovering the S Pen over it. If it's in a language that you're not familiar, if you need to, right on the screen. But the best part is that you can capture GIF animations from any content that plays on that plays on the screen.
Awesome.
Like you can be watching a YouTube video or whatever video for that matter, and you can just select. There's a feature called Smart Select, and it gives you the option to just record a GIF animation. You can just hover up and down the screen exactly which area you want to record. You can even control the quality. Obviously, if it's a higher quality, it will be a larger file, and it will record a 15-second clip.
Whoa,
That it will,
that's really cool.
That it will make into GIF afterwards. What else do we want to say about the notes?
What's the price for it right now?
Yes, price point. So the Note 7 is one of the priciest phones around, which kind of makes sense considering all the tech. The off-contract pricing is around $850 depending on the carrier. T-Mobile will charge $850. I think Verizon was like $860. AT&T was $870 something, but it's in that range. Obviously, you can get it with low monthly installments that are between $25 and $30, so it becomes a lot more reasonable. Another cool thing is that if you order the phone now, Samsung will give you either a Gear Fit fitness tracker, which is actually very, very nice, one of the best fitness trackers around, or you can get a free 256 gigabyte memory card. So speaking of memory card, the phone has expandable memory. You get 64 gigabytes on board, plus you can put memory card up to 256, which makes over 300 gigabytes of memory. Good luck trying to fill that. Seriously.
A lot of selfies.
That if it's only selfies, I don't think that anyone can fill it up unless little. I mean,
You're underestimating the narcissism.
Yeah.
possibly, but that's a lot of selfies because those will be 5 megapixels. No, that's like many thousands of selfies. So who knows?
Well, this is a good challenge.
Absolutely,
Or a terrible challenge.
yes, good challenge for people that have a lot of free time.
Yes.
So that's the current pricing, which basically puts it squarely in the same ballpark as the big iPhone, the iPhone 6s Plus. And obviously Apple will launch a new phone probably sometime soon, and then we'll see how those two stack up. We'll probably do a separate video about it.
Cool.
But overall, it's one of the most premium phones on the market. It has features that no other phone has. Iris scanner, the S Pen. It's also waterproof. It's jam-packed with tech, and considering that the standard upgrade cycle for smartphones is about 2 years, it's a pretty good investment. And
That's awesome.
on this high note, any
Yes.
other questions? I think we're good.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you so
for-
much
thanks for
stopping
showing us.
by. Talk soon.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right.